Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Just logging on to Magic Online. Gonna play a couple of matches. I have to work in a couple hours. I've been teaching through Skype. Fortunate to have a cool job with a bunch of clients who are open to technological solutions in these trying times. So I thought, some of you might be bored at home and might like to see a little bit of Soulherder action. So I'm here to provide that service for you guys. With people not being able to go to their local gaming stores, they more people seem to be joining Magic Online. So that's cool. Hopefully, there's more of us playing Soulherder online now. I guess we can look real quick at my setup. It hasn't changed a lot since the last time you guys saw me. Just Magic Online still warming up here. All right, so I am on the 4-color version these days. And I guess the biggest change recently has just been, let me change this real quick. Just running the 4 ceremonious rejections in the sideboard. I think black is a little bit better than Bant against Tron in general with the Assassin's trophies, but Tron, mostly mono green Tron, like traditional Tron, is still just like pretty difficult as a matchup. So I just got sort of tired of losing and just added these in, and it's actually helped quite a bit. So anybody playing Soulherder who's just getting crushed by Tron all the time, you might want to give 4 ceremonious rejections a shot. All right, I don't want to talk too much about it. As I said, it's pretty similar to what you guys have seen in recent streams. So I'm going to play just a couple cues. So looks like there's an opponent waiting if we can get the deck selected quick enough. All right, there we go. And 20 play points. Okay, I won the die roll. Unfortunately, have to mulligan. Looks like I'm going down to 5. Opponent's keeping 7. It's an unfortunate start to the stream. Okay, well, it's never going to be pretty. But I think we'll run like this. We're going to need blue mana for Coatl or Deputy. I think I'm going to keep these 3 cards. I can cast these 2, and Coatl will draw me into more cards. We'll see how it goes. I am going to play some kind of crazy aggro deck. I'm just going to get the snot kicked out of me in game 1, I'm sure. Eldrazi aggro that usually plays these Gemstone Caverns. I think they have to exile a card when they do this, but they must be thinking pretty hard about what to exile. I was saying that I was going to lead with green. And I'm not sure what they run that has haste. I still might lead with green just in case I draw into blue. This game is probably over already. Not really equipped to do very much. I can Eladamri's Call for like a Wall of Blossoms in case we run into things like Matter Reshaper. That would actually be a pretty good situation for us with Wall of Blossoms. Generally doing very well against 3-power creatures. Oh, I see my opponent disconnected and then rejoined. So just waiting on the opponent here on my mull to 5. extremely riveting, captivating, edge of your seat kind of magic going on right now. For those of you unfamiliar with Gemstone Caverns, we can look that over while we wait for the opponent. If it's in your opening hand and you're not playing first, right. So if you're on the play, this card doesn't give you this option. It's only when you're on the draw. If you're not playing first, you may begin with this land on the battlefield with a luck counter on it. It's kind of cool that they actually call it a luck counter. If you do, instead of, I don't know, like a cavern counter or something, they just straight up acknowledge that it's all about luck. If you do, exile a card from your hand, they put Flooded Strand. That's an interesting land. I was not expecting to see Flooded Strand. So as I mentioned, I'm going to open with green. Just in case I do draw blue, I'd love to get Coatl down. Flooded Strand makes you think this might not be as aggressive a deck as I was thinking I might be playing against. Maybe it's like a combo deck. Maybe some of you guys watching know what blue deck plays Gemstone Caverns. I mean, could it be something? Oh, well, there's red. Okay, Astrolabe, interesting. So, oh, this is probably like a Breach combo or something, which honestly I haven't played against like once. I've played against some decks with Breach, but I haven't played against a legit like artifact grinding station build. I have some Abrupt Decays, Assassin's Trophies, Pithing Needle, if it is that deck. Obviously, I'm not going to be naming Astrolabe with Pithing Needle because it's a mana ability and because I run Astrolabe in my deck. Okay, opponent thinking really hard about Serum Visions. They went top in the end. Okay, we did draw blue. So I mean, there's a chance that this whatever deck I'm playing against runs counter spells, but I think I still would prefer to do this on their turn. Hello to anybody who's joining me. Just trying to get in a couple games. I have a little bit of time. Another Serum Visions. A little bit of time before I have to work. In a couple hours. Hey, thank you. I mulled to 5 in this game. The opponent kept 7, and they started with Gemstone Cavern on the battlefield. So and they've now topped twice with Serum Visions. They exiled a Flooded Strand to get the Gemstone Caverns on the battlefield. Again, not really quite sure what I'm playing against. But if they play something like an Emery, I've got a path to exile already. I would like to stop drawing lands at this point. Okay, well, 2 Eladamri's calls, a little bit clunky. Given that it's almost certainly some kind of combo deck, I feel like I probably want to like end step Eladamri's call for like a Deputy of Detention. I don't really have a lot in the way of interaction here. If I had like a force that I could cast, then I would maybe get an Eternal Witness so that I could potentially recur the force. Okay, so here's Uro, and in response to his trigger, I'm just going to path him, which means that I won't be able to cast Eladamri's Call. But I think it's sort of fine. We deal with it while they're tapped out. They won't be able to counter it. I'm just a little bit put off by the Gemstone Caverns. This could really be anything at this point. Just some kind of blue-red or Jeskai controlling build with Uro. I guess it's green, right? So like Teamer. Okay. Well, they did put a land onto the battlefield with Uro's trigger. And of course, they drew a card. Passing the turn, they're above 20 life. These are always going to be slow matchups. Slow and annoying. I may just want to cast Eladamri's Call on my turn to avoid... man, these lands are quite a bummer. You know what? I might just get... I'm going to play this tapped, and then Eladamri's Call for Night of Autumn. And then if they counter it, like Cryptic or something, I can just untap and kind of do the same thing on my turn and actually cast the creature since I'm going to have 5 lands. So let's see if the opponent plays any. Okay, so there's a breeding pool. Makes sense. We've dealt with 1 Uro, but my guess is the deck probably plays 3 or 4 Uros. This could be a Jace or something. I mean, we're falling rather far behind. If it's a Jace, we'd probably fetch for Deputy of Detention, I guess. Five mana. Interesting. Oh. Time Warp, huh? Alright, well, they're tapped out at this point. I guess we'll say okay to that. That's interesting. Well, maybe the game will end faster than I thought it was going to end, which nothing else is a bit of upside. I think I'll still just wait on Eladamri's call. I could resolve it now, but again, if it get... Oh, Time Warp. There's nothing that I can grab with Eladamri's call that's going to affect any of this right now, so... Time Warp was on top of the deck. They're going to draw it and take another turn. This doesn't seem infinite yet. Of course, they have a lot of card draw in the deck. They can potentially bounce Mystic Sanctuary, draw a card. I have to be careful not to just F6 through the turn because I do have a spell that I want to cast. Okay, well, so they've gone with Jace here. And we know that they have a Time Warp in hand. Some kind of turns deck. not what I thought it was going to be. It's one of the cool things about playing in queues rather than leagues is that you tend to run across lots of decks where people are trying interesting things. So they are brainstorming with Jace. Now, of course, the potential here is like I can Eladamri's call and they let it resolve, and then when I go to cast like a Deputy, they can just remand it, and then I won't be able to recast it, which would be obnoxious. Actually, okay. So they do have a shuffle there with Misty Rainforest. Going to have access to 3 mana. Just go Eladamri's call. And I think we are going to try to deal with the Jace. So I'll get Deputy, and if they have a path or something, although they don't seem like they're on white. Drawing a few too many lands here. I guess I will go ahead and cast this first. Don't really... I mean, being kind of a control... I mean, I don't really know if it's a control deck at this point because they run Time Warp. I mean, obviously they've got Jace, so they've got to have like ways to protect their spells. But Deputy has resolved. Hasn't been bolted yet. We'll see if that happens. Of course, they could have Cryptic and bounce the Deputy. Guess they get... Let's see what happens, I guess. I am significantly ahead on time. I would rather not win on time. Oh, the opponent does have a Time Warp, speaking of. Oh, okay, so it's a Fires deck. So we're going to want to Eladamri's call for... Oh, all right. So it's a Time Warp combo with Fires of Invention. We're going to want to get Night of Autumn. If we get another turn, pretty sure the opponent can just cast that Time Warp right now. Oh, but they've already played 2 spells this turn. So let's just hope that... let's see, I might as well get black mana, I guess. Or maybe... I have got another fetch, so it doesn't really matter. And I don't think I'm going to lose to my life total in this game. So we go green-white. They didn't counter the deputy, so, and they're just F6, so here's hoping. Uro is an interesting development. All right, well, you know, we're sort of maintaining. I can cast Uro and then potentially get him on the battlefield next turn. All right, again, you always want to put the sacrifice trigger on the stack first so that if you draw Ephemerate, you can cast it. In this case, we only had one card in hand, so it didn't really matter. Remember, the opponent has the Time Warp in hand. If I followed their sequencing correctly. Okay, now they can cast the Time Warp. So an Ephemerate would be really beautiful here because you can cast spells only during your turn. Right, so we're not afraid of anything getting countered as long as Fires is down. So they've cast their 2 spells at this point. They play a Mystic Sanctuary. All right, they're going to run out of those. Presumably they have some sustainable way of making this happen. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. All right, so they just drew their Time Warp. They've got 2 spells that they can cast this turn. I mean, it seems like Force of Negation would be obviously incredible in this matchup. If you exile their Time Warp. All right, so Time Warp, spell number 1. What is spell number 2? Is it a Cryptic, bouncing Mystic Sanctuary, playing Mystic Sanctuary, drawing a card? I don't really know that that is in a loop necessarily. One more spell. They've got 2 cards in hand. They are taking an extra turn here. They are bouncing my deputy. Okay, so that gets them some extra draws out of Jace. They are down to 1 card, so hopefully they whiff a little bit. I can bring in, well, so Abrupt Decay is obviously not that great. They're not leaning very hard on Astrolabe. It just looks like pretty much a 2-color deck splashing green for Uro. So, I mean, Abrupt Decay doesn't look like it's going to hit very much. I can side that out. We haven't seen any Cryptics yet. I'm not conceding. I just want to see my sideboard. Purge, going to be great. It can hit Fires. Ceremonious, not so good. Teferi. Let's think about that. They're casting on their main phase at sorcery speed. It seems like Ashiok is somewhat relevant. Going to prevent them from searching for sanctuaries with their fetch lands. Pithing Needle, going to be good. Naming Jace. I don't believe they've cast an extra turn spell here. Well, there it is. Okay. They're down to 14 minutes. Okay, there's a clock. That's cool. 6-turn clock as things stand. So again, Purge. And there's another Mystic Sanctuary. So it's just a turns deck, basically. We want to be able to blow up Fires. We want to be able to sort of interact with Jaces. So Assassin's Trophies will stay in. We've got 1. Surgical seems good too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you guys think about Teferi in the matchup? Seems like they're only casting things on their turn anyway for the most part, and it doesn't really look like they're a counter spell deck. So I don't think that Teferi is that great, honestly. Okay, they're going to brainstorm. This is their extra turn, and there's another one. Okay. Okay, 2 extra turns. They only need to attack me 6 times, so that's 2 more times in the bag. They've got Savor the Moment and Time Warp. I'm sure those are both 4 ofs. We can nab those with a Surgical or maybe a Fires. So they've got 3 turns in the bag at this point, this being one of them. 2 more turns coming. 1 after this current one. Not super interesting. Okay, again, they do have 1 more turn coming after this. I believe they've already brainstormed. Haven't cast any spells, I think. Or maybe, yeah, haven't cast any spells this turn, I think. All right, so that's 2 more turns after this one, which means I'm getting hit for 6 more. If they cast another extra turn spell, I think I'm just out of it, so they're going to play Mystic Sanctuary, which I guess they probably brainstormed into. And at this point, I'm just going to F6. I don't want to lose any time that I don't have to. And even though the game is over, I guess the opponent's continuing to brainstorm here. Yeah, no, I don't think Teferi is going to be very good. They do play Uro, but it sort of seems like the way that their deck is working, that Uro, like we can handle it. I'll have to think about what kind of removal I keep in. Obviously, Deputy's pretty good. They had to use Brazen Borrower to bounce him. Opponent's going to end this game under 12 minutes. Go ahead and crack my Vista, see if I can get another 3 seconds out of them. Okay, and that's game 1. So it took me a long time to sort of figure out what they were trying to do. But now we know, so let's go to sideboard. Pithing Needle, Extraction, Thoughtseize, all excellent. I think Ashiok is going to be great. Turns off their fetch lands, makes it harder for them to get Mystic Sanctuaries. They do have bounce effects, so Worship, potentially not that great, although I think they're going to try to win by Jace ultimating anyway. So Worship, it's not like damage that's going to kill me, so Worship is pretty bad. Purge. And then I think the rest of these cards are pretty poor. They could have some like secret sideboard check or something. That would make me want something like Abrupt Decay or Winds of Abandon. Scavenging Ooze is great. Wall of Blossoms can easily get trimmed. I was mentioning Abrupt Decay doesn't hit very much in the deck. We will leave in trophies. Obviously, Forces are going to stay in. Knights, Deputies, Soulherder. That's a bit of a combo if we can get that established. Well, particularly Knight and Soulherder is pretty nice. I don't think I need both Siege Rhinos. It'd be cool if I could win with Time Warp. So the opponent didn't see any graveyard stuff out of us this game, so unlikely that they're going to bring in any graveyard hate. So we've got 2 trophies, an Extraction, and a Scavenging Ooze that can deal with Uro. So I don't think I need both paths. I can trim one of those paths. And maybe it makes sense just to trim both paths. Ways to deal with Uro. Scooze, Surgical Extraction, 2 trophies, 2 calls that can go get Soulherder. Deputy. I think I should have enough. Maybe I'll just leave in one path. It's like I can always ramp one of my path one of my own creatures to ramp myself if it seems like Uro's not in the picture. And I don't need to gain tons of life, so maybe I can trim one of my own Uros. Also possible the opponent sideboards out their own Uro for the same reason, but I guess I'll run it back like that. Time Warp versus Time Warp. I did mulligan to 5 that game, and I think the opponent was on the play. It's possible I was on the play. I can't quite remember. This looks pretty good. Opponent kept 7. Taking about 30 seconds to decide on their hand and take their first turn. All right, trophy's kind of nice to have access to. We will need another green source at some point. Awesome. Opponent immediately cracks their fetch land. What are they doing with 2 mana? Is this Wrenn and 6? Okay. Oh, Wrenn and 6 is kind of obnoxious. I think I might just force this. But it looks like a lot of their lands are fetches, so I could get Ashiok online. I could also just Ephemerate in response to the Wrenn and 6 activation. Slam Ashiok next turn, and hopefully kind of... I do have an Assassin's Trophy to deal with Wrenn and 6, so I think I can let this guy resolve. Oh, he can return the land, but again, that should... But then I need to get white here if I want to Ephemerate. If I want to prevent them from fetching, I should... This is interesting. I think I'm going to Ephemerate anyway, because I'm going to have 3 looks at the top of my deck to hit a blue source or black source to get Ashiok on the board. So basic planes is never that amazing in this deck, but sometimes you just have to get it. So that was 1 miss on the blue mana. Okay, again, not hitting it, but I will pay 2 life. Okay, and our third draw was an Oracle. So currently cannot get down Ashiok. Have not actually played a land yet this turn. I can just blow up Wrenn and 6. Alternatively, I can play Coiling Oracle and try to hit into another land. Holding up Eladamri's Call, also holding up Ashiok. If Wrenn and 6 wants to... I really, really want to get Ashiok down here. So... I think Coiling... You know what? Hang on a second. When you have no lands in hand, it doesn't really matter if you play Oracle or Coatl, so I think I'm going to go with... Although Coatl is instant speed, and so sometimes we want to hold that up. I think I'm going to go with Oracle here. It does reveal something in my hand, but I don't think that's a big deal. Okay, so Deputy, we've got a lot of things to pitch to force at this point, and again, we have Eladamri's Call for our turn, so... I mean, our opponent's turn. I wish if I had gotten Ashiok down, the opponent wouldn't be able to fetch this turn. All right. So they have found an Uro. Okay, Mystic Sanctuary. Putting a Misty on the top, I guess. So looking for lands. They have another fetch land in hand already from Wrenn and 6. All right, so I have the Deputy in hand. I guess this is a time when I want to go get... Well, Scavenging Ooze seems good, right? Okay, a little bit awkward. But I think eating Oro just seems like the way to go. I can just force something that they cast next turn. Mana, a little awkward this game. I haven't drawn any Astrolabes in either of the two games. Okay, 4 mana. Okay, so this is getting countered. Or you know what? They can only cast one spell after this, so I feel like I want to let this resolve, force whatever they cast, and then maybe Assassin's Trophy the fires next turn. All right, well, Ashiok not really doing what he's supposed to do here, since the opponent's just fetching left and right. Okay. So Wrenn and 6 is going to die. Fires are going to die. Well, at least as things stand right now. I think Thoughtseize seems good, but again, the mana is too awkward. I wouldn't be able to cast Assassin's Trophy. This is so awkward. I can only cast one spell. Could also just Deputy. I can Thoughtseize and Deputy. I think that seems like the best combination. Chandra. Chandra can kill Deputy. Jace can bounce Deputy. They will have access to 2 red. So Bolt also kills Deputy. This is all pretty rough, huh? But they don't have any extra turn spells. So I guess I take the Jace to prevent them from digging, and then so take it step by step. Alternatively, I could cast an Ice Fang. Could also leave up Scavenging Ooze in case they try to. It's only instant and sorcery. I don't know. Let's make them focus on our stuff, I guess. Force them to answer what we're doing. I could have also hit the Astrolabes. No, but then they're not even spending mana to cast things, so that would be stupid. To make sure I don't let the opponent get too close to me on time. Yeah, my mana is so jammed up this game. It's like semi-functional, but I've only been able to cast one spell per turn. Oh, they're going with Uro. That's interesting. At this point, I can play Ashiok and Exile. Oh, well, he can double. He can. Well, he can't. Doesn't have enough stuff to cast Uro. So I guess they're going to go Chandra, blow up Deputy, and then I can just Ashiok their graveyard. Did they draw another Jace? Or they... Not quite sure what's going on here. They don't have enough to escape Uro yet. That looks like what they're trying to do. Yeah, that's true. I mean, but taking Astrolabe would be silly because when I cast Deputy, they had Fires, and Fires says they can't use mana to cast spells, I'm pretty sure. Or they can, but they don't have to. Okay, opponent just wasting a minute on their clock. They're not going to be able to use... Okay, well, getting rid of Skooz is pretty cool, having to use the Lightning Bolt, because they want to cast Uro, but they can't. I think they played this island. I'm going to assume they have, if they do it next turn, I guess. We know they have a Chandra. I can go ahead and close this. All right, so it's definitely time to nuke their graveyard, or at least attempt to. All right, so mission semi-accomplished so far. They still have Chandra, which can get back Fires. Potentially have another island in hand, though I'm pretty sure they played it on their last turn. Chandra could also just nuke Ashiok. I guess we'll see which direction they take. And I do have an Assassin's Trophy to deal with the Chandra. Okay, so they go after the Deputy. Which means they can cast one more spell this turn. Okay. So Chandra gets to look at a card on top of the deck. And they get 2 casts. Okay, the Misty Rainforest, can't do anything with that. Remember, the opponent can't fetch anything. It'd be interesting if they play a fetch and try to get a Sanctuary or something. Ashiok stops that. Okay, opponent down to 1 card. We can actually just attack Chandra to death, which is fantastic. And Astrolabe should make things. I am not going to downtake Ashiok anymore, because then he would just die to Bolt, at least not for the time being. Ephemerate is pretty reasonable. Do I want to hit fires at this point? What did Ashiok hit? I mean, he hit a bunch of stuff that they play, right? He hit Time Warp, Cryptic. I guess we haven't seen a Cryptic yet, so that's news to us. So let's see. Chandra down. I guess I don't really want to. I don't really want to hit fires, I don't think. Maybe I'll learn a lesson. Okay, I'm definitely going to Ephemerate here. I just want to draw like a force, you know, something that interacts a little bit. The opponent can't cast anything on my turn, which makes fires actually kind of nice to have on the battlefield. I will pay 2 life for that. I will put that on the battlefield, so things starting to open up a little bit on our side. I can afford now to play out another Oracle. I also afford to play out another Astrolabe. Okay. Okay, cycling a land. Renin 6. Okay, that's a good target for Assassin's Trophy, I think. So I think I'll go ahead and do that now. Actually, I can wait. Because I can just kill Renin 6 on my turn with little guys. So again, opting to keep the Assassin's Trophy in hand. Because I might as well get blue. Okay, so I think I tapped wrong. Not sure that it matters too much right now. All right, things getting pretty juicy for us right now. Can't cast spells on my turn. I think I understand the opponent's deck better than better than he does, or he or she. So pretty sure they do have a bolt in hand. So I think the most important thing here is just getting Ephemerate going. Ephemerate here for for force, I guess. I don't really need Uro. You know what, I'm going to get another Ephemerate, and I'm going to hold this up in case the opponent tries to bolt the Eternal Witness. If they try to cast an extra turn spell, I'm going to Ephemerate and then Force in response. And I can always still Assassin's Trophy the fires if I need to. Looks like another run-in 6. Opponent keeps forgetting that they have fires on the board. I assume they're going for, yeah, Sandbar. So they've cast one spell already. At this point, they can't cast a counter spell if I force like an extra turn spell. I like how fires can limit the opponent. It's sort of like an opposite to Fairy. They are bolting me, huh? Again, I think this is sort of fine. But I kind of might as well force it, I think. I have an Uro I can cast next turn, so why don't I just let this resolve? All right. But they've cast their spells, so I think we're good. So I think maybe I want to get Eladamri's Call here. I think I'm just going Uro, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just take the Force now. And then if I trophy the Renin 6, I can just attack the... Nah, I'm going to hold the Assassin's Trophy for like a Jace, I guess. We have a pretty significant time advantage. If the opponent's plan is to go for, I'm just going to cast Uro from the graveyard now. Gain some life. All right, so we've got 2 trophies now. We've got mana up for Force, but no blue card actually. But we do have double access to double blue. Okay, Astrolabe is okay. That's one of their 2 spells. Okay, I win the game. The opponent scooped, I guess thinking that they need time to win the next game. I don't see how it's at all possible for the opponent to win with 3 minutes, though. So what worked and what didn't work that game? Ashiok actually seemed to do work, even though he came down on like turn 8 or something like that. Keeping the opponent's fires on the board, I think, was a very good decision. Obviously, that's going to depend on the board state and their hand. Thoughtseize seemed great. Yeah, I could definitely have ephemerated for Deputy in the graveyard. I think the single path for Uro seemed just fine. I don't think I drew it, but I kind of like the concept of it. I don't think there's anything else I'd rather have. I mean, another Uro would be reasonable, but I think the setup is fine. Pretty sure the opponent plays 0 counter spells, so we can be fine at just sort of casting our spells. This is very, very keepable. Thoughtseize. I could help them cast an Uro here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, we're going to take fires. Although they have no ramp or anything. Yeah, putting Uro in the graveyard is stupid. So, so they're going full on beatdown here, cycling the sandbar. We've got Force currently. Playing the Steam Vents tapped, sure. Path would be like the best draw. Ephemerate is like a runner-up. I guess I might as well pass here. I want to draw lands, so didn't really want to play the fetch and thin the deck. There's the Delta, so we only know about 2 cards currently. You're going to play Uro, so I'm going to know about that. And then I imagine we'll see the other Steam Vents as well. Opponent not... Okay, Magus, interesting. That could get me. That could very well get me. All right, so now, oh man, I guess I should have thought about that possibility. I could definitely just lose now. That's ridiculous. Should have fetched. Should have fetched. I was just saying I didn't want to fetch. I thought about it. I didn't do it. Now the opponent's going to play Uro. Actually, they can't play Uro. Currently. Yeah. Oh, man. We can't do it. We can't cast it. So there's Uro. And I believe they have another Steam Vents they can put into play. Oh, I hate losing to this. I guess I can draw a Astrolabe. Well, that's sort of something, kind of, sort of. Not really. I'm not going to block yet, so I probably should attack. Any other basic turns on Death Touch. Any other blue card turns on Force. Opponent can currently not get Uro cast. Actually, they're quite a distance away from casting Uro. Oh, you know what? Can they cast it from the graveyard using fires? I guess not, huh? Oh, man, this is annoying. They could, of course, just bolt me out. That's also a possibility. Oh, I have Force online now. At least I caught that. Astrolabe just opens things up instantaneously. You know what? I'm not really feeling that. But if I draw green, I can play Uro, and it's all good. All right, I'll save Force for a minute. Sanctuary. Good job, opponent. Okay, all right. Let's do something. So I can ephemerate and still hold up force. I've got Death Touch online now. Can lure and attack here. Can also just play Uro. 2 forces kills me. Sorry, 2 lightning bolts kills me. But he's only got 1 card in hand. I can also just purge this thing. Though Ephemerate seems better. Alright, I've got force up. It's all good. Okay, Astrolabe, I'm not really I think I kind of want to counter that. A little bit scary going shields down like this, but I thought a minute ago I was just like straight up dead already, so. All right. I think we cast Uro, gain some life. Potentially draw a land. Okay. Okay, pretty far from being able to do very much. So I think I'll just ephemerate right now. Actually, I think I'll attack. Try to lure the attack maybe. I kind of want Magus to live so he can't cast Uro. I think I'm going to let Magus live for a little while. Opponent's got 7 seconds on their clock. Time warp. Okay. I can't cast anything in my hand. Opponent's got 1 second, 2 seconds, 0 seconds. All right, well, it was a very interesting match. We sort of knew the opponent was going to have trouble with their clock pretty much from game 1. Magus was pretty spicy. I'm not sure if I were in their seat if I would have even kept this in or brought it in because they know I play Astrolabe. Oh, well, you guys got to tell me a little bit earlier. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can see the top of their screen now. They've got 0 seconds left. No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's fine leaving Magus. So I guess maybe you were just commenting from not knowing what's on their clock. But they were like under a minute, and I think recasting Uro seemed like a pretty awesome way to go. They could also start playing Sanctuaries and things like that. And with Magus on the battlefield, Sanctuary just doesn't do anything. So you know, I have Astrolabe. I can choose my best spell every turn if I need to. For example, Assassin's Trophy on Jace seems reasonable. If I draw a single green source or white source, I could cast Siege Rhino. And at any point, I could pretty much just get rid of Magus. So I felt fine leaving him on the battlefield. just because we can remove something doesn't mean we should. Anyhow, I think countering that Astrolabe on their side was a good call on my part. Ultimately, that would have let them do more, I think, than this Jace did. So, yeah, we got there. Pretty spicy deck. So I think I'll play just one more match for now. Hopefully it's not against the same person. I do have to work at 5, so hopefully it's not a really, really long match. I don't know where all of you are in the world, but today it's a really beautiful day in New York. The sun is out. It's like maybe 65 degrees outside. Guess we can look at the deck while wait for an opponent. It's felt pretty good lately. The Force Ceremonious does a whole lot towards improving the Tron matchup. Like, if you can make them stumble in the early part of the game, and then just get a Ceremonious, you can just keep recycling it. It's a pretty solid way to lock Tron out of the game. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust my screen. I do not think this is the same opponent, and we won the die roll. 5 lands. 5 lands with a Coiling Oracle and an Eladamri's Call. I'm on the play. Now, if this were 4 lands and these 2 as a mull to 6, I would definitely keep it. I've got fetches, which I'm probably actually going to want to use to sort of fill up the yard in early turns to get Uro close to being castable. So I could go like white, blue, green, play this. I think it's keepable. It's marginal, but I'll keep it. Now, if I get Thought Seized, it's a little bit rough not having too many non-lands in my hand. Probably gonna get Thought Seized. Oh, looks like not. That was a great draw. So Eladamri's could actually, if this is like Jund or something, Eladamri's could go get Uro, which combos pretty nicely with these fetch lands. Oh. These are the 2 things I was thinking about getting with Eladamri's Call. So opponent knows about Uro, and that's it, but Uro's pretty good. Yeah, Uro, he heard us praying at his altar, and he came to us. Simian Spirit Guide. Look out. God damn. All right, this is fine. This is just going to make me cast Uro faster. You got it, opponent. All right, basic planes can get out of my life. And I guess Breeding Pool, because Windswept Heath feeds the Uro. I could also just pitch Uro. That makes more sense, I guess, right? Yeah, that probably makes more sense. Yeah, I'd love to stop Thunderkin Awakener, but currently that's not an option. And I kind of like casting Uro for the draw, so I think that I'll just pitch Breeding Pool. Hey DV, welcome to the stream. This is going to be the last match that I play. Looks like the opponent has a pretty good hand over there. Well, all right, that's pretty sick. I drew a path, so if they go Thunderkin, I can just path it. Opponent knows I have Uro. I can actually call end path, so that's what I'll do. And then I've got Eternal Witness to get back the path, so I'm going to probably want to get Temple Garden with the Windswept Heath, although my life total's pretty low already. Simian Spirit Guide. I guess the question is, what do we get with Call? Oh God, what is modern? This is so stupid. Okay, I can get basic planes, exile this guy. That's fine. Or you know what? Hold on a sec. I'm gonna get Temple Garden, float white, and still do what I wanted to do. Yeah, modern can be pretty stupid sometimes. All right, I don't even know what I want to get, guys. We've got a lot of good cards in the deck. Siege Rhino seems good. Scavenging Ooze seems awesome. That's probably the pick here. Yep, I like Scavenging Ooze. And the land. Things are getting better and better. So I feel like I play this tapped this turn. If the opponent attacks with another Lightning Skelemental, I can just well, whatever. I'm gonna play this tapped. I don't need to eat two things right now out of the graveyard. Just need to eat one. Oh, but if they have another Magus, I get so wrecked. Wow, I forgot to think about that. But there's not a lot I can do about that, actually. So let's whiff on another Magus for one turn. Okay, opponent thinking really hard. DV Neil, actually, Parcel Beast looks pretty dope. Whether we want one of them or two of them in the deck, people have to test it. Alicia in the Soulherder Discord tested it already with a proxy, and she said it seems really good in the deck. So Parcel Beast, or Parcel, I don't know how we're going to emphasize that. Parcel, probably Parcel. It's like package. Not sure what the opponent's doing here. So this is more like a black-red discard deck, I think, more than like Elementals, which is what it looked like at first. Or, you know, like Thunderkin, black-red Thunderkin. Astrolabe, beautiful. That means that I can recast the Uro when I want to. But let me do that before I forget, because I do need snow mana to cast that thing. You know what? First of all, let me go to attacks. If the opponent's just going to make me discard stuff, like, I'm kind of fine making him discard Uro. Or maybe not. I gain life, draw a card. Seems good. I think getting Uro's effect here, possibly ramping, seems pretty strong. And there's basic, so that's nice if they're trying to Blood Moon me. So the Blood Moon me again, we have access to 3 of our colors between, like, I'm going to get an island, and then Astrolabe gives us one of the other colors. All right. Thoughtseize is Thoughtseize is Thoughtseize. It's going to happen. That was a reason to potentially cast Ice Fang on that turn instead of Uro. I wonder if these guys play like 8 rack and stuff like that. I mean, not 8 rack, but just the rack, etc. Against a deck like this, I think we're generally really strongly favored. Which is really fortunate to be able to get out from under that Magus. But now it should be semi-smooth sailing. Okay, that was a good one as well. So let's just start. By getting our friend Uro onto the battlefield. As I mentioned, all those lands, the fetch lands in the opening hand do help a ton in getting this guy onto the battlefield. Okay, there's another basic that we can get. At this point, we'd probably prefer to stop drawing lands. Destroying Uro seems okay to me. Not getting exiled, no reason to do anything, really. Oh, that was at the end of my turn, huh? Okay. That seems fine. Still at 15 life. If the opponent tries to, like, Inquisition me or something, that's pretty beautiful, provided they don't also have, like, another bolt in hand. We can bring in a Surgical. If they don't Inquisition me, what are they doing here? Even like a Skelemental isn't the end of the world here. Because again, discard doesn't really do much in this spot. Of course, a push would be pretty obnoxious. Just do it now. Doesn't really make a difference. I don't want to get stuck with some weird trigger stacking or something like that. That's a cool draw. Oh, but I'm going to discard it, so... oh well. Okay. Okay, we're definitely going to escape Uro again. Force is interesting. Ephemerate is super interesting. Love me some Ephemerate. So opponent has a push. Wow, so many lands. I was gonna say they can't kill Uro right now, at least. And with this Ephemerate, we'll still have 5 cards in the graveyard if we need to unearth again, or escape, I should say. Wouldn't be surprised if one of the cards in the guy's hand is unearth. Fill up my water. Croxa. That's fine. I'll just pitch Force. Although, could... Yeah, I don't know. I could Ephemerate in response. See what I draw. Maybe I'll pitch a land and take some damage. Keep holding on to force. Yeah, I mean, that seems reasonable, but it's also like potentially like they could bolt in response, but they didn't have the bolt last turn, so I feel it's unlikely that they do this turn. Yeah, so force is the pick here. Coiling Oracle is going to keep us in card advantage. Croxa, I don't know. Croxa's so bad. Does opponent have the land? Okay, Skelemental incoming. I'm just going to trade with this thing, I think. Although, you know what? I got to think about it, because attacking with Oro seems pretty sick, too. Opponent gets to cast Croxa next turn. I'm going to take some damage. Let's do it. So I don't quite have enough lands to Eternal Witness into Time Warp, but I do have enough to get Ephemerate and then Path something. I should double Ephemerate and then Path something. All right, opponent, do your worst. Yeah, it makes any of our 1/1s, Parcel Beast makes any of our 1/1s into 2/4s. They don't die to Bolt. They block really well. I think there's a little tiny bit of synergy with Ephemerate. It protects us against getting blown out, like post-mutate. If they manage to like try to push the mutated creature, we can Ephemerate, and then it splits into 2 creatures. So Ephemerate is like great protection. And it sort of supports mutate in the deck. But yeah, it's like you can mutate and then draw a card immediately. So it's pretty nice. I think I'm going to pitch Deputy. This guy's not doing a lot. This deck just is operating too fast for Deputy to really do much. So, see you later, Croxa. It's nice knowing you, and GG opponent. I don't know why opponent went through all those motions when they knew that I had the path in hand. Okay, so Surgical comes in. I guess Ashiok comes in. Worship probably comes in. Auriok Champion comes in, I guess. It's really just Lightning Elemental Croxa. I have to think about Auriok Champion. Celestial Purge is insane. Pithing Needle, have to imagine. They have some Planeswalkers. Thoughtseize doesn't seem great. Abrupt Decay kills We have to look out for Magus, so let's make sure we're searching for basics and prioritizing hands with Astrolabes. Black and red don't have a ton of graveyard hate. I mean, I guess they can do like Nile Spellbomb or Leyline, but the Time Warp combo definitely seems like it could be like semi-legitimate. Scavenging Ooze, awesome. Deputy was poor. Knight seems poor-ish, except for life gain. Soulherder dies to Bolt, but this deck might not play a ton of removal. I mean, it's black-red. If we can get some value out of Soulherder, that would be cool. There's only one of them, and it pitches to Force, so... might trim a Force, actually. Paths are fine. Life gain is fine. Calling for Uro seems great. Wall of Blossoms seems okay. Maybe trim one Siege Rhino because it's mana intensive. And if they land like a Magus, it could be really rough. And the last trim is probably going to be... Wall of Blossoms is easy to cast with... maybe I'll just trim one Snake or something. I don't usually trim snakes. Sometimes if I really want to keep like all of my Eternal Witnesses, I'll trim one of the 2-drops. Speaking of prioritizing hands with Astrolabes. Opponent is mulliganing. I'm on the draw. I'm going to get plenty of draws. This gives me perfect mana, 2 redraws. What do you guys think about this hand? I mean, it's kind of stupid, but it's also kind of funny. I've kept hands similar to this and just like kind of gone off. Yeah, that's a good call too. We're a game ahead. We can gamble a little bit. And opponent is mulliganing to 6, so I guess Thoughtseize is kind of rough. They take the Astrolabe, but it's sort of whatever. Sort of whatever. Oro's a good one. I'm gonna crack a fetch for that reason. Inquisition me again, opponent. Opponent says that's a lot of lands. Haha, I know. I guess we'll get an island here. All right. What are you up to, opponent? 4 cards in hand. Oh, they had another Simian Spirit Guide. Jeez Louise. Well, I'm going to pitch one of these forests, and I'm going to pitch the Overgrown Tomb, I believe. Sounds good. Yeah, feed the Oro. Let's do this. Okay, Ephemerate. If I hit a land, that's going to be super beautiful. Okay, well, you know, turn 2 Oracle. Still decent. Karaxa. Alright, I think I can afford to discard. Definitely want to keep this land. The Ephemerate is two draws, actually, so I think I'll pitch the wall. Okay, opponent down to 1 card. They've hit land drops every turn. Surgical is a pretty good one. Get my attack in real quick. And there it is. I think I'm going to play that untapped. The question, I guess, is what, if anything, should we surgical right now? They can't, even with this Marsh Flats, they can't cast Kroxa on their turn yet. Not particularly close. So I could wait to see like an Unearth and then surgical Lightning Skelemental. Like maybe I'll just sit for a minute. That sound good to you guys? And if they try to Inquisition me or something, I can just cast both of my spells, so... Ashiok. Oh... Damn. Ashiok. Whatever. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is fine because it's not going to... And then I'll wait till my turn to surgical because I can get surgical. Well, they're going to still be able to nuke my yard the following turn. It doesn't really matter. I can still chill on. Well, now they have a lot, so I think it's time to surgical Kroxa. But I can do it on my turn and save a bit of life. I'm going to thin the deck a bit. Oh, I can't search. Sorry, guys. I guess that has to happen like once every now and then. Oh, yeah. I should have done it before Ashiok. Pretty dumb. And now, if I draw, I guess Eternal Witness would be awesome. I've mentioned before in the Discord that Ephemerate with Eternal Witness dodges Ashiok. You can keep Ephemerate in hand and in exile. Soulherder is cool. And I'm just gonna get rid of Kroxa right now. Is that... If they draw one... Oh, I see. That makes sense, I guess. More lands. So put a stop on their draw step, and we can go ahead and get Kroxa. Of course, if they draw like an Unearth, it's rough. Oh, they had one in their hand. Oh, that's amazing. You guys are the best. I don't even want to look at their deck. Okay, they have 4 surgical extractions because Fulminator Mages got 1 more Lightning Skelemental, 2 more Lightning Skelementals. That was pretty sick. Maybe opponent forgets to activate their Ashiok. Come on, forget to activate Ashiok. Oh, they're not activating Ashiok. Yes. So I think I'm going to chill on this Uro. Although, it is my only other Uro. I think I have to chill on it. Just hope to dodge Inquisition this next turn. Oh, Abrupt Decay, yes. You know what? I'm sort of fine with them exiling my yard as it stands, if they want to bottom out Ashiok. Okay, they drew a land, so things looking pretty good for us. You know what? I'm going to just kill. I'm going to save my Abrupt Decay. Opponent is pretty nice. They said their life looks better without turn 4 Uro after they cast Ashiok, and now they said, guess your life looks better without Kroxa. I agree, it does. Attack Ashiok. Oh, Ephemerate, you're so good. And I could get a Scavenging Ooze down now in case they draw Unearth. Seems pretty good. Could also just Abrupt Decay if they draw Unearth. I think I'll just chill. Soulherder has been really solid. Escuse here is fine-ish, but really not necessary. I don't think there's anything I can do about this. I could flash this dude in and see if I draw. Let me Ephemerate and see if I draw Force. I think I might have just sided my forces out. I sided one force out. I'm going to Ephemerate anyway. Yeah, that's fine then, I guess. Sure. No more Oros. That's kind of sad. Sad for the opponent because he kind of wastes his surgical, but it is what it is. Can eat a nice chunk of their graveyard with Scavenging Ooze. 2-turn clock from now. All right, well, opponent's pretty dead. I love how cards that we've been playing with for a long time. I guess a long time, like a year or two. I guess at this point, that when people saw them, knew they were going to be playable. Like I'm thinking of Ashiok in particular, but how they kind of grow over time into these crazy staples. Like in 5 years from now, like Ashiok is going to feel like Dark Confidant, or Tarmogoyf. It's just going to feel like one of those cards. For me, it still feels a little bit new, Ashiok. Like it's we're not that far away from it yet. 1, 2, 3, 4 green activations plus Abrupt Decay seems pretty solid. Sometimes the deck feels really, really good. Sometimes it feels a little underpowered against like Dredge and against Tron with the nut hands. I'm going to say great games. Thank you very much. Good luck with the rest. It's also really, really nice to have positive opponents. It's it's so rare. God, like it's so sad that Magic is just dominated by salty neckbeards. So anyhow, there's 10 of you guys in here right now. Thanks for joining me for this random afternoon stream. Let's look at the build real quick. It's felt pretty balanced to me. I really love having 4 ceremonious rejections in the sideboard against Tron. Honestly, with this deck, I feel I've already felt favored before the ceremonious rejections against Eldrazi Tron. I know some of you Soulherder players feel like Eldrazi Tron is a really unfavorable matchup for us, but it's really not. They have their nut hands, just like any deck, and you can feel it can feel like unbeatable if they just get Tron on turn 3 and just push out 3 Reality Smashers after one another. But we like being able to see things like Thought-Knot Seers and Reality Smashers. It's like, all right, I'm just going to keep getting Path to Exile all day. I've got Pithing Needle for your little Planeswalkers. Like, there's nothing that crazy like Karn, Big Karn, or Big Ugin, or Oblivion Stone just getting rid of all your permanents, even your like things like Pithing Needles and Astrolabes. But Little Karn is like a nuisance, but he always minuses, and then you can just kill him in the air. I've got Assassin's Trophies that I can recur, Forces that I can recur, Thought Seizes I can recur. The Eldrazi Tron matchup has always felt fine to me, but the Green Tron matchup has always felt really rough. Even though I probably win it maybe like 33% of the time or something, once you add these 4 ceremonious rejections into the mix, it becomes much more 50-50, I think, because you really only need to draw one of these things, right? And if the opponent mulligans like Tron always does, and they try to play a map and you ceremonious rejection it, maybe they miss their next land drop, maybe they are just stuck with a forest, and then you get your lands online, you Eternal Witness, get back rejection, and you're good for the rest of the game. Sorry, something strange is happening with my cursor here. Okay, there we go. So anyhow, 4 rejections makes Tron feel a lot better. I've had to pare back the rest of my sideboard to make space for 4 rejections, but it's worth it. You can see that I took out like Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer is going to be best against like mid-range decks, and we're already favored against those decks. And I've already got things like Purge, Ashiok Teferi to help against Jund. Pithing Needle is so good. Abrupt Decay is really good. Auriok Champion's really good. It's like Veil is a little bit over the top. Veil also helps against control decks, but then Abrupt Decay is also help against control decks. The one thing against control that you hate to see playing our deck is Teferi. So having 2 Abrupt Decays has felt pretty good against those matchups. So what are you guys up to here? Make sure to raid another streamer. Oh, thanks for the reminder. I'm not really sure how to do that. I guess in my chat I have to type something, and I can look that up right now. Let's see how to raid Twitch. I looked this up at the end of the last stream, but I forgot to actually try to do it. I think I have to type /raid and then type like the name of the channel. So do you guys know any channels that I should try to raid? Sorry, I'm pulling the chat back up here. So yeah, do you guys know if anybody's streaming right now? If so, let me know, and I'll send you guys their way, and potentially get some people to join me on our next stream. I guess I could try. Is his channel called Yellow Hat? I think. I don't know if he's streaming right now. Okay, well, so who's online right now? Just tell me anybody, and we'll try the we'll try to send you guys over there. Oh, Channel Fireball is going? All right, I can try to do that. So, um, so is Channel Fireball is just all Yama Killer is streaming. Well, what do you guys recommend? I've got one person saying Channel Fireball and one person saying Yama Killer. Raid the person, not the company. So is that, I guess that's Yama Killer, huh? Going once, going twice. I'm typing /raid space Yama Killer. Let's see what happens. Doing this on my phone. Is it gonna do something? I don't know if I have to do it from some other interface. Like I think I have to wait like a few seconds, but that doesn't look like. Oh yeah, it does. That's cool. Well, it said there. Oh, I see. There's a Discord thing. Oh, all right. With 5 raiders, and so is that it? Basically, are you guys on your way over to the other channel? Like, has it asked you if you want to go to the other channel? All right, cool. So that works. Very nice. We can end the stream then. Thanks very much, guys, for joining me. 2 pretty cool matches. And yeah, deck feels good. It's a lot of fun. Thanks very much, Dao or Swizzy. I appreciate the kind words, and always happy to see you guys. Catch you in the Discord.